All right, so welcome. Come and take a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on something if that makes you feel a little bit easier. And just have a little wiggle around and nestle your sit bones against the block or a blanket if you've chosen to sit on something. I'm sitting cross-legged, but if you want to sit in another fashion, you could kneel, you could have your legs out straight. Please do what you need to do. Just take your fingertips to the floor in front of you, and then as you wiggle side to side, slightly walk your sit bones further back so that as you come up to sit, you find that you've got a really secure, firm foundation, and that you can let your body weight to a certain extent drop into the sit bones and allow the rest of the spine to be natural in its curves. Allow your hands to rest onto the legs or into the lap, wherever feels most comfortable for your shoulders and your arms. And then close your eyes. If you're not comfortable with the eyes closed, have the gaze down towards the ground in front of you and soften the gaze. And allow yourself to sink into the seat that you've chosen. With a real sense of arriving. And as you begin to slow down into this still position, you have the contrast of awareness of yin and yang. So that even within the stillness, someone was to look at you as you sit here, they would see you sitting fairly still. But on the inside, you're enjoying noticing the movement, the continual movement, the yang element within the yin. Primarily, that will come from your breath. So now watch, listen, be absorbed by your breathing. And as you travel your awareness with your breath, do your best to exclude outside distractions. You can notice the sounds, but don't let them take you away from your breath. There may well be internal distractions. You may start to notice you're not quite as comfortable as you thought you were a moment ago. Feel free to adjust your position if that's the case. You may also notice that thoughts take you away from your breath. This is okay, it's normal. Once you've recognized this has happened, bring your attention back to the flow of your breath. Travel within the yin and the yang of the breath. The yang being the inhalations and the exhalations. The yin being the pauses between the two. I'm going to take 3 or 4 more breaths here. Okay. After this exhalation, slowly begin to open your eyes. Well done. So let's lean back into the hands and release the legs out in front of you. Just for a moment, give them a little bit of a break. Maybe fan out the toes, stretch them apart, and then scrunch them up small. Do this again, fan open the toes, and then scrunch them up. Very nice. Now what I'd like you to do is point through alternate feet. So point one toes away and draw the other toes closer towards the shin, and then go from side to side. So you're pedaling from side to side, giving the calf muscles a bit of a squeeze, but also a nice stretch for the top of the ankle and the foot. Very nice. Then I'd like you to leave the toes pointing up towards the ceiling and draw the inside edges of your ankles in towards you. So you're stretching the outside line of the ankle. And then turn the feet the other way. So you're sending the inside edge of your foot away from you. You've got a stretch on the inner ankle. You've got a little bit of engagement on the outer ankle. Go from side to side again. Stretching, releasing, not forcing, not too much of a push or taking the body beyond where it naturally wants to go. Okay, and then we'll come back to the center, and I'd like you to roll the toes draw the toes in circles, rolling through the ankles. And notice the whole leg moving with this. So you can get this enjoyment right up into the hips, this movement, this openness is occurring. Change direction when you're ready. Lovely. And then I'd like you to bring your feet closer towards you so that your knees are bent. You can still lean back into your hands a little bit here. Just take a little rock from side to side. Doesn't matter how low the knees come towards the floor. Just rocking side to side. So you're getting a little bit more open into the hips, a little bit more mobility into the side of the body, side of the waist. We're going to focus a little bit on the side body in today's practice. So to get ourselves warmed up, I'd like you to come back to a seated position, and you can sit cross-legged, you could kneel, whatever works best for you for your comfort. Okay, so you're going to start with a nice upright spine, but not losing the curves, not sitting too rigid. And we'll start with a little bit of breath work. So fingertips down by your sides. Breathe in and bring the hands all of the way up above your head. Fingertips can lightly touch. And then breathe out, return the hands back down by your sides. Good. This time, breathe in, bring the arms up. So movement is linked to breath. And you're going to leave one hand in the air, doesn't matter which one. The other arm will release back down to the ground and gently reaching across towards the sides. This is all on your exhale. As you inhale, gently come all of the way back up, reach it up. And as you exhale, return out to the side, go the other way this time, a little bit of a lean into the side body. You're breathing in, coming back up, reaching up, and breathing out to the other side, reaching across. Let the head go a little bit with you here. Breathe in, come up, reaching up, and breathing out, leaning over, head goes with you. Lovely. Do one more on each side, please. Go with your breath. Go nice and slow. Okay. And then once you've finished the last one, come back up. Both arms reach up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, release both hands down by your sides. Good. Just give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. You can go both ways. If you went backwards the first time, go forwards a couple of turns. Okay. If you need to change your seated position, please do. So if you want to change the cross of your legs, then I'd invite you to do that now. So we're going to do a little bit more into the side body and with a little bit of rotation this time, okay? So you're going to bring one hand to the floor down by your sides. It could be your fingertips or your knuckles if you don't want your palm onto the ground. As you breathe in, I'd like you to take your other arm up in a sort of diagonal line and you're trying to reach the two hands away from each other. Then as you exhale, bend the elbow and rest the hand on the back of your head, just lightly. Breathe in and take your bent elbow backwards just a little bit. And then as you exhale, you're going to turn towards your knee and bring your elbow across towards the opposite knee. Then you're inhaling and opening up the side body again, opening up, taking the elbow back, maybe looking back slightly. And exhaling, taking a little bit of a twist, elbow towards the knee. Don't worry if they don't touch, just take them in that general direction. This will be the last one. Breathing in, opening up, and breathing out to curl across. Come up, breathe in, reach the elbow up, take the arm out, reach it backwards, and then exhale, come back down. So you're back to your start position. All right. Again, if you want to change the cross of your legs, please do. We'll take the other hand to the floor beside us. Breathe in, so other side, reach it up, look up towards your thumb, take both, press the hand into the floor so you can take the fingertips higher. As you exhale, bend the elbow, put the hand gently onto the back of the head. Breathe in, take the bent elbow back slightly, a little bit higher. And breathe it out, crisscross it over towards the opposite knee. Breathe in, come all the way back up again, look towards the elbow if you can. And breathe it out, come across and down. Last one, breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in and reach the arm wide and high and look towards the thumb. And then breathe out to release the hand back down by your sides. Good job. Okay, so now let's change the leg position to bring the feet onto the floor. A little bit wider than the hips. The hands are going to be onto the knees. I'll turn around to the side so you can see the shape of my spine. We're looking to do seated cat-cow rolls for the spine, okay? So the hands are going to be onto the top, onto the front of the knees to begin with. And we're going to inhale. And as we do this, I want you to Send your heart forwards, maybe roll the shoulders back slightly, create a curve, maybe through the upper part of your spine. And then as you exhale, lean back so the hands are still on the knees, the arms straighten, draw the navel in and spread out the bones on the back body. Breathe in and come forwards, proudly lifting the chest, maybe lift the chin slightly. And breathe out to lean back, rounding through chin to chest. And again, keep going, breathing in and breathing out. One more time, coming forwards and backwards. Okay. Come forwards and up slightly. Walk the feet together so the soles of the feet kiss and the legs are in a long diamond shape, and I've got my feet quite far away from my groin. I'm sitting on something. I think that helps to tilt the pelvis, but by all means you don't have to sit on anything if you don't want to. If you need more height, if you've got sciatica or low back issues, tight hips, then more height can be beneficial. Please feel free to experiment. Maybe just making sure that you've got enough space here. You're going to roll forwards, okay? And your hands can find your feet, your elbows could find your legs, your chin can fall towards your chest. And we're going to stay here for about 10 breaths. If you need to, you could put something underneath the outer thighs to support the knees, support the legs. And don't be afraid to let the spine curl forwards. We want a little bit of a stretch across the back of the hips and the spine, as well as this external rotation into the hip itself. If your head is feeling really heavy at this moment in time, you could bend your elbows and let your head rest into your palms. Or you could find a brick and rest your forehead onto an upturned brick. 3 or 4 more breaths here now. Finding some stillness within our Yang practice. Always looking for balance and harmony between doing and not doing, between effort and no effort. Okay, so taking an inhalation when it comes and slowly walking yourself back upright. And again, you might just like to guide the legs a little bit closer together with your hands and slide the feet away from you. Do some circles again, maybe with the toes if that feels good. And change direction. All right. So we're going to come over onto all fours now. And we'll make our way into a downward dog in just a moment. What I want you to do, first of all, is just position yourself so that your hands are slightly in front of your shoulders. Your fingers are spread, the palms feel open. Tuck your toes under behind you and move your bottom backwards towards your heels, maybe to give your toes and the soles of your feet a little bit of a stretch. So you could come back up to an all fours position and then bring the bottom back down towards the heels again. Okay, coming back up, and then this time as you come back and down, the bottom stays low, but hover the knees off of the floor. Find an even bigger stretch for the bottom of the feet, but also start to engage the muscles in the thighs and let yourself feel a little bit stronger, a little bit like you're working harder. And then ever so slowly, with external rotation to the upper arm bones, start to unwind and unravel the backs of your legs as the sit bones lift up towards the ceiling and the head falls down towards the ground. Now you could begin to pedal the heels, so with one leg straightening, the other knee bending, pressing the heel down towards the floor so the calf gets a stretch out. And a little bit of a sway of the hips from side to side here. So we enjoy opening into the sides of the waist, just like we have been when we've been on the floor. All right. And then what I'd like you to do now is float your knees back down to the ground. Leave your left knee where it is, but by all means, pop something underneath the knee if you need to, like a foam block. And step the right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. Give it a helping hand if it needs to. And you're going to turn the toes out. So you don't need the toes pointing forwards. Turn them out a little bit of an angle and feel that this releases and opens into the side, into the hip for you. So you don't feel so compressed in there. And then you're going to gently lean forwards, okay? So you're getting a bit of a stretch on the front of the left hip now, and then coming back again. So forwards, leaning forwards, and back. Now this time, when we lean forwards, can you leave your left hand on the floor, wherever it's comfortable, and reach your right fingertips as far forwards as they will go. And then as you come back, just ease out of it slightly. Your left hand might have to travel a little bit further in front of the shoulder to get you more of a stretch. Make sure there's plenty of room in the hip. Reach the right fingertips forwards and then gently come back. Okay, now this one will stay in for a few breaths. So come into the position, reaching the right arm forwards. It can be along the floor, you can have it on a brick in front of you. Some of you might like to go deeper. You may find that you can bring your left forearm onto the floor, left elbow underneath the left shoulder, reaching the right fingertips forwards here. You've got so much effort going on in different aspects of your body. Those that are feeling super keen can keep the left toes tucked under and press back through the left heel. So you're in an Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Keep pressing back through the left heel, reaching the right fingertips forwards, everyone. Good job. And then we'll gently ease back. So walk the right hand back, lift up the left elbow, take the right foot back and tuck both sets of toes under so you can come into downward dog. And if you want to pedal, you can, but also if you want to just press back through the sit bones, that's fine. Think about drawing the navel in, externally rotating the upper arm bones, and a tiny bit of lift to the front of the chest. All right, take another breath here. Good job. And then we'll do the other side. So you might want to just move your block across towards where your right knee will be and bring the knees down to the ground and step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So how wide you take the foot will determine how open into the hip you're becoming. Don't feel afraid to take the foot wider if you need a bit more space. So we're going to do our little lean forwards again. So little lean forwards, feel the stretch on the front of the right hip as well as getting into the left hip with the flexion. Coming back. And then you might find that as you come forwards, the right hand needs to go a bit further forward so you can reach the left fingertips away from you. And then you can come back again. And remember, no two sides of the body are the same. So what felt good on the right side might not feel the same on the left. And it's okay. You must honour that and listen to that. This time we're going to stay here. So you're going to keep reaching the left fingertips forwards. And they might be happy in the air. You might be able to touch the fingertips to the floor on this side. Again, option to bring the right elbow to where the right palm was. So you've got that low, getting a bit deeper into the left hip. If you try this and it doesn't feel so great, come back out, it's okay. And the final bonus add-on is to tuck the right toes under and strongly press back through the right heel. So you're pressing your heel into a wall, reaching the left fingertips forwards, pressing the right heel back, finding all that lovely length and space diagonally along your body. And then taking another breath. And slowly bringing the hand back, the knee can come down, lift up the right elbow and step yourself back so that you can lift into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. All right, so let the head hang. Draw the navel in, lift the sit bones. And then we'll float both knees down. And you can come into child's pose, any variation that you like. So if the knees want to be together, that's fine. If they want to be apart, that's okay. If you want to rest your head on your hands, go for it. Or you could rest your hands round by your feet. Okay. So breathe. Become still and soft. Okay. Last couple of breaths here. And then from your child's pose position, can you slide your fingertips away from you along the floor? Take an inhalation to come up to all fours, tucking under your toes behind you. And then we'll walk the bottom or lift the bottom back and up into downward facing dog. Taking a little bit of length to the spine, chin to chest, heels back. And then walk your hands towards your feet, please. You can have your feet as wide apart as is comfortable for you. I'd like you to hold your opposite elbows. Bend your knees enough so that your spine can hang with ease down towards the ground. Let your head hang in between your arms now. Feel your feet grounding against the earth and contrast and lift the sit bones lightly up behind you. Take a little bit of a sway from side to side. Enjoy the space that this creates in the sides of your waist. Think about pressing into the four corners of your feet and lifting the inner arches of your feet away from the floor, encouraging your legs to feel strong and lengthened. Okay, come back to the center, release the hands, and if it's comfortable, this might not be for everybody, but if it's comfortable, walk the feet together. We're coming into Utkatasana, so some of you might need to keep the feet wider apart for your comfort or for your ease of movement. From whatever leg foot position you've chosen, allow the knees to begin to bend and see if you can drop the bottom down, okay? And then you'll come up with your hands onto your knees. So keep the bottom dropping, keep the knees bending, but as you press the hands just onto above the knees, see if you can lift the heart and get the arms straight and long. So you're not locking the elbows out here necessarily, but you are creating a little bit of a bend in your low back. And the legs should be working. Get the inner thighs really working hard here. If it's comfortable, reach the hands up and gaze forwards. But if it isn't, just keep the hands onto the knees and take a slightly softer variation. Good. Take another breath or two here. Legs working strong, get the bottom a little bit lower, heart a little bit higher, shoulders relax, everybody. Lovely. And then wait for an inhalation. And as it comes, stand up. And if you can bring your arms up above your head, please do so. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. And on your exhalation, release your hands down by your sides. Okay, so pause here for a moment in Tadasana. Close the eyes, relax the shoulders, tailbone lengthening down towards the back heels, inner arches of the feet lifting. Let the breath become smooth and settled. Body soft within the strength of this standing pose. Always looking for that balance, the yang and the yin. Okay, so a little bit of movement into the side body. I'm going to keep my feet together. By all means, separate your feet if you need it for your balance or for your comfort. When you're ready, take the arms up above your head, reaching the arms up high. Hold on to one wrist and take a little side bend, gently pulling that arm across, lengthening your side body. As you breathe in with strength from your core, come back upright. Swap wrists, lean over. As you exhale, lengthen side body. Inhale back to center and exhale to the first side. Inhale to center and exhale. Good. Come back and release, final exhalation. Go back to closing your eyes when you're ready. Lovely, strong, long legs. Spine gently undulating in its natural state. Shoulders relax and the breath is soft and even. Okay. So when you're ready, open your eyes and we'll make our way towards the top of the mat, please. Okay. And we'll work through a little variation on Surya Namaskar, a little sun salute variation with a bit of a focus on the side body. So expect to do some three-legged dog pose and a little bit of a side plank. So in a little bit of homage to some of the poses that we were doing last week, there'll be a little bit of repetition along the way. Okay, so if you can begin with your hands in front of your heart, please. Palms together, no pressure in the fingertips and the palms. Go back to the flow of the breath in and out. Perhaps you could consider the inhalation to be yang, whilst the exhalation is yin. And even within our sun salutes, potentially there's the opportunity to observe yin and yang within the flow. Remember, however, that the yang side of the body is the back. It's strong, upright. The yin side is the front. It's softer. It yields more easily. Let's think about this as we move. On your inhalation, rise your hands high, look up. This is very yang-like, isn't it? As we reach up towards the sun. As we exhale, we'll lower down into a forward fold, very yin-like in its manner as we fold, as we shorten, as we get closer to the ground. On an inhale, put your hands onto your shins. Lengthen your arms, a bit like you did in your Utkatasana just a moment ago, but this time the legs are straight. Back of the neck is long. Pick up the back of your brain, the back of the skull towards the ceiling. Lift the sit bones at the same time. Draw the navel in. How much could you consider this to be yin or yang? Or is it a blend of both? Halfway to the floor, working hard, legs working strong. All right, then let's pop the hands down towards the ground. And leave the right foot where it is, please, as you stride back, long stride back through the left leg. Bend the right knee and pause here in this position. You can put the left knee down onto the floor. So this is a bit like what we were doing just a few moments ago in those side stretches just a moment ago. Okay, so now when you're ready, bring the right foot back to downward dog. Just press it out here. Take a breath. Okay, and then we will take the left foot up into the air behind us and float forwards. Bring the left knee underneath you and step it up as close towards your hands as you can. Maybe come up onto the fingertips, press the right heel back. If you find this is a bit uncomfortable, if you need to have your knee wider, so you could have your foot on the outside of your hand, please remember that if you need to. Now a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a bend to the right knee, and press the foot forwards to come back to a forward fold, always taking the feet as wide apart as is necessary. Then rise up, breathe in, arms can come wide, you gather up all the earth energy, bring it up towards the sun and then down, combining the two and placing them into the heart. All right, rise up again, breathe in, hands lift to the sky. As you exhale, fall down, any way that feels good for you, any journey the hands want to take, that's fine. Hands to the shins, breathe in, Ardha Uttanasana again. Lift the back head. Hands to the floor, leave the right foot where it is, step the left foot back, long towards the end. Bend the right knee and pop the left knee onto the ground. Remember, you can have the foot wide if that's more comfortable for your hip or for any other reason. Breathe in and take the hands up towards the ceiling. Reach up as you press the left hip forwards. Lift the heart up higher. Breathe out and bow down towards the ground. Lovely. Lift the back knee, step back to downward dog. Press it back, hips high, sit bones lifting, tilt the front hip bones forwards. Left foot lifted up to the sky. Step it through towards the top of your mat. Give it a helping hand if it needs it. And then place gently the right knee onto the floor. Feel free to pad the knee out. Breathe in as you rise up. Engage the muscles around both hips. So you're really squeezing them tight, but send the right hip forwards. Lift the hands up. Look up if you can. And then gently bow forwards and down. Fingertips come to the floor, lift up the back knee. Little bit of a spring towards the top of the mat. Use the potential of the legs and hang yourself down towards them. Forward fold. Breathe in, arms can come wide, knees soft all the way up. Standing up, exhaling, hands to heart. Lovely. Okay, one more round. Breathe in, rise your prayer hands up to the sky. Breathe them out, down into Uttanasana, all the way to the floor. Halfway lift, breathe in. As you breathe out, fingertips to the floor, left foot Step it all the way back. Left knee down. Breathe in, rise up. Lovely. Breathe out, hands to the floor. This time we're going to lift the back knee up, press back through the right heel, and then step the right foot back to meet the left. So we're back into this lovely plank position. Very good. Spin both sets of toes to the right. So we did this last week. You could bring the foot in front, you could bring the feet stacked, you could be down onto your left forearm to do this. Your right arm lifted up to the sky if you can, and then cartwheel the arm alongside the ear. So it doesn't matter whether your left hand is on the floor, doesn't matter where your right foot is. See if you can find this big, long side body stretch and hold this here. Take another breath here. Lift the bottom hip. Good. And then soften down. Back to plank position. Back into downward dog when you're ready. Left foot lifted up. Step it through to your hands. Give it a helping hand. Take it out wide if necessary. Right knee, press it down. Breathe in. Rise up, lift up. Squeeze the muscles around the hips to control this movement. Lift the heart up. And then slowly fold down. Fingertips could be on the floor. Lift up the back knee and step forwards. And gently fold down. Rise the prayer up. Look at your thumbs. And then straight back down. Very slowly. Take your time. One more round to do and incorporate the plank pose on the other side. So breathe in. Halfway lift. Breathe out and fold. Right foot stays where it is. Left foot, stride it back. Knee can come down. Breathe in. Rise up. Squeeze around the hips with the muscles. Keep them engaged. And then folding forwards. Lovely. Lift up the back knee and step back. Other side this time. So toes will spin towards the left. Choose your leg position, choose your arm position, whatever works for you. Keep the legs firm, inner thighs working. Lift up through the left hand if you can. Cartwheel the left arm alongside the ear. Keep lifting the right hip up. Control, breathe. Don't worry if you're a bit wobbly. Okay, another breath. Good job, and then lower down and bring the feet down. This time, bring the knees down. We'll do the lunge on the other side in just a moment. We'll take a little breath, child's pose of your choice. Okay, so breathe. Become soft. Feel the rapid beat of your heart inside your chest. Perhaps the heart resembles the yang. Can you use the yin of the breath to calm the beating of the heart? Okay, another breath. And then let's slide the fingertips forwards, please. We don't want to miss out the left side, so float up to an all fours position, and from this all fours position, can you step your left foot forwards? Remember to squeeze the muscles all around the hips, the thighs, the buttocks. And as you rise up, these are working strong here, holding you steady, not letting you hang into the joints, but keeping the control and making sure the stretch feels supported. Lift the arms up, rise them up, lift the heart up. See if you can find a back bend into the thoracic part of your spine. Good. Take another breath. And then gently bow the hands down. And we're going to step into downward dog. So tuck the back toes under, send the left foot back, and find this lovely position. Okay. I want to use down dog to find a deeper side body stretch. So let's take the right foot up to the sky and bend the right knee, bringing the heel towards the bottom and letting the foot go floppy. Then turning your body to the right. Can you look under your right arm? Keep turning the heart and aiming to stack the right hip on top of the left hip. And as you do this, press the left heel towards the ground. Press both hands into the floor. See if you can keep both arms working strong. Taking the right foot even further back, letting the leg be floppy. Hold this for another breath. And then come back to center. Right foot lowers down slowly. Knees float down to the floor gently. And unwind your body into a resting position of your choice. Okay, so the same pose please on the other side now. So find a downward dog position when you're ready. Okay, and then lift your left foot up. Bend the knee, start to turn the body to the left. The head looks under the left arm. The left foot goes floppy. You're trying to stack the left hip on top of the right, pressing down into the ground through the right heel. The body is revolving. You keep turning the chest. See if you can find as much movement, as much space and length and all that lovely breath that you can use into the side of your body. Hold it here, arms working equally. Good job. And then level off the hips. Float down the left foot. Release the knees gratefully to the floor. The bottom sinks back. Untuck your toes and rest. All right, so a few breaths here. Find some lovely softness. Okay. So we're going to come up to stand next. So lifting yourself away from your child's pose position and making your way to an upright place. And you might want to take a brick for this next pose. We're going to work into Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. So really great for getting deeply into the side of the body. Let's start in the middle of the mat, facing the side, and step your feet a good distance apart. We'll come to warrior two, first of all, to shape into the legs. So find your feet into a nice wide apart position. and turn the right toes out towards the end of your mat. Then turn in the left toes, and how far in they go will be your choice, okay? But a little bit of a turn in just helps for the hip and for the leg. Now think about externally rotating your upper right thigh. And as you externally rotate the thigh, can you bend the right knee? Then come down into a position where you just become aware of the legs. None of the rest of the body really matters. Think about pressing into the big toe joint on both feet, but also onto the outside edge of the back foot. So you're not letting your inner ankle collapse towards the ground. Tailbone lowers slightly, so the front of the hip bones, the ASIS, lift up slightly, and then the arms come up to shoulder height. And you can turn your head to look down the fingertips into the distance. And breathe here. All right. Keep lifting the inner arches of both feet, keeping the engagement of the feet against the floor really strong. Another breath. Would you consider this to be Yang? Or is the stillness of being here and breathing here Yin? Okay. Let's bring the left hand down onto the side body. Bring the right arm, forearm down onto the thigh with the palm up, and we'll position ourselves in this place first of all. Now look at the back leg. You want a nice straight line all the way along your torso down towards the ground. And then the left arm becomes an extension of that. You let the head drop a little bit so it's two in line with your arm. Keep bending the right knee, pressing into the outside edge of the back foot and finding this lovely diagonal slide to your body. Okay, for those that want to go deeper, you could find your brick, put it onto the inside edge of your foot, or even the outside if you need a bit of extra room. Perhaps this hip is feeling quite compressed. So be gentle with yourself. Find where your body naturally needs you to go. If you can come with your hand down to the floor, go for it. See whether you can keep creating a strong line of energy. Turn the body slightly to the side. Keep revolving the waist and the rib cage. Good. Another breath here. Lovely. And then we'll cartwheel back to warrior two. And straighten the front leg. Release the hands. Turn the toes forwards. Step back towards the middle of your mat. And hold for a minute into mountain pose. Okay. Close the eyes. Always enjoying the beating of your heart. And how if you focus on your breath naturally becomes calmer. When the breath becomes to calm, so does the heart. And as with all aspects of life, there's balance. We look for the continually shifting pattern, the secular nature of life itself, the way our bodies work, and how day moves into night. All right, let's do the other side, everyone. So let's take the brick down to the other end of the mat, please. Step your feet a good distance apart. Okay, and then turn out your left toes. Turn in your right. Make sure that you feel fairly upright. You've not kind of collapsed in the upper body, gone floppy or soft. So stay upright. Externally rotate, perhaps both thighs this time. Pressing into the inside edges, the big toe joints, but pressing into the outside edge of the back foot too. And then bending the left knee and finding yourself lowering down. So the arms become a natural extension out to the side. You're looking down the left fingertips, And breathing. Keep the emphasis on lifting the inner arches of the feet, but using the breath to find softness here. Can the softness resemble the yin, the upright, the leg strength, the yang? Good. Hold it here, another couple of breaths. All right. Right hand onto the side body. Left forearm onto the top of the thigh, palm up in a gesture of giving all of the time. Revolve the top ribs, the right ribs back slightly, so you're not turning towards the ground, okay? That's not allowed. This is a side body movement, so keep it focused by taking the right ribs back and encouraging this lovely extension along the right hand side so that the arm becomes natural, becomes a perfect representation of that. Let the head drop a little bit more, bend the left knee a little bit more, keep reaching, look towards your thumb if you want. And if you want to go deeper, find your block. Remember, outside or inside can be either one. Could be on its end, could be down. You could have your hands on the floor. Whatever works for you. Okay, don't forget your feet. Breathe. Good. Last breath. And then with strong legs, look down, cartwheel back to Virabhadrasana 2. Then straighten the front leg, turn the toes in, and step the feet back to the middle of your mat. Back to mountain pose. And to calm. Okay. So I'd like to do one more standing pose before we come back down to the mat. You can keep your brick to hand. You probably won't need it, but it's there if you need it. And we're going to work through a variation of triangle pose of Trikonasana. So step your feet about 1 metre apart this time. Maybe not as wide as they were for Virabhadrasana. Turn the right toes out. Turn the left toes in a bit more deeply than perhaps you did for Virabhadrasana. The legs are going to stay straight this time. This is a side body stretch. And by doing this, we want to take the right hip back a little bit so the right hand can come down maybe onto the shin or onto your brick. And the left hand can come up towards the ceiling. The same principle applies. The top ribs, in this case the left, want to be rolling back slightly. So you can really feel this in the sides of your waist, but you're sparkling up through your fingertips. There's lightness in the bottom hand too, so with whatever you're resting against, let it be light. Press into the outside edge of the back foot, lifting the inner arches of both feet, the big toe joints grip the ground. Now from here, take a breath in, let the head drop a little bit more, and cartwheel the left arm alongside your ear and reach towards the top end of your mat. Lovely. Take another breath or two here. Legs super strong. And then keep your gaze up towards the ceiling, but let your left arm reach towards the floor. Fingertips pointing straight down, but head turning up. Hold this here for another breath. And then inhale, reach the top arm all the way up. Look down. Breathe out. And as you inhale, return back carefully to an upright position, hands to hips. Good, let's do the other side. So turn the feet forwards and out in the other direction. Let's start with the arms up. This time breathe in. As you breathe out, remember it's side body, so don't let the right ribs fall forwards, keep them rolling back. Left hand comes down to the shin or to a brick. Right hand reaches up and you look up towards your thumb. You press down into the right foot. Right leg strong. Lift the inner arch of the foot. See if you can keep the ankle working. Keep breathing here, rolling the rib cage back, feeling this lovely stretch all the way along the side body. Good. Then gently let the head drop a little bit. Cartwheel the right arm alongside the ear and reach fingertips away to the other end of the mat this time. Lovely. Now then, look up, but release the top arm. So it sort of dangles, but with a little bit of emphasis. Fingertips reaching towards the floor, head turning towards the ceiling. See how that feels. Take another breath here. Good. Then as you inhale, reach the top arm up. And as you exhale, look down. Nice. As you inhale, float yourself up. Stand, hands to hips, exhaling. Turn the toes forwards and heel toe your feet. Back to mountain pose. Close the eyes. And breathe. Okay. So I'd like to finish with a seated asana. So you might want a brick to sit on or a blanket. And because this is Upper Vista Konasana, I'm going to put my block off of the back of the mat, okay? So what that means is when I come to sit with my legs out wide, I've still got my heels on the mat, okay? So nothing worse than having your heels on the hard floor. Now from here, because we're going to tilt a little bit further forwards with the hips, I like to start by putting the fingertips onto the floor behind, lifting the sit bones a tiny bit and moving them backwards, just like I'm trying to shuffle them back, but with a little bit of a lift. Okay, so this is already encouraged to tilt forwards of the pelvis. And it may be that if you can keep the legs straight, a little bit of external rotation to the upper thighs, just like you've done in the standing poses, you might be able to let the hips roll forwards. Maybe bring the chin to the chest. It might be that you take your brick and you maybe put your brick on the floor on its end, and it could be that your elbows rest on it to rest your chin in your hands. It could be that you pop it down to rest your forearms onto, or perhaps it's upright again and you can put your forehead onto it. Okay, so we began the class with a long-legged butterfly, and we're now starting with this, or finishing, sorry, with this wide-legged forward fold. Similar in that we're getting into the inner thighs, but maybe notice whether you can go a little bit deeper now. So we've created the space in your hips and into the thighs from the standing poses. Also into the sides of your body. So maybe think about how the side body is feeling at this moment as you're here. Now this could be considered a very yin-like pose. We're still, we're settled, we're here for some time. Maybe not quite as long as a classic yin pose. Nevertheless, there's still a lot of effort. There's work going on here. You can feel the intensity. I wonder if you would consider that to be yang. The stillness of the pose is the yin. Okay. So from here, gently lift yourself up. We're not coming out of the pose completely. We are coming up to sit, so you might just want to give the inner thighs a little bit of a rub. We're going to take ourselves into a side stretch from here. You could take the brick and have it to the outside edge of your right foot if you wanted to. There are a couple of options. You can leave the legs in this position if you like. Some of you might like to bend the left knee and bring the left heel a little bit closer in towards you. That might make this pose easier. We're going to come into a side stretch, so it might be easier for some of you with the knee bent. Another option, just changing it slightly, is to bend the knee this way, so have the thigh rest, the calf resting onto the floor, the lower leg resting onto the floor. So there's a couple, well, 3 options to take with the legs. This one, or this one. Okay, so whatever you feel is most appropriate, or we'll get into areas of your body that you want to work into. However, start by turning towards your left leg, whether it's straight or whether it's the knee is bent, and then side bending towards your right leg. Notice the right elbow comes down. Maybe you rest it onto the knee. Your head could rest onto your hand. You could use a brick or something here to give you a bit of extra height, or a blanket, for instance. And some of you might like to bring your forearm to the floor on the inside of your leg. That might be quite nice. Some of you might like to reach for the foot and hold on to the foot that way. Now the top arm can either rest on the side body or even behind the back body, your choice. Or it could go straight up towards the ceiling, or it could cartwheel over the top as you find the opposite foot. And gently stay here in a pause here for about 5 more breaths. Two more breaths. Last breath. Okay, so gently unwind yourself back to an upright position. And sit for a moment. If you used any props, take them over towards the other leg. And then we'll begin by turning to face the right leg this time. Whatever you did with your left leg on the first side, you must repeat, please, with the right leg on the second side, unless you're carrying an injury and that was your reason for adapting the pose, okay? So turn towards the right leg this time, and then side bending. So different, you'll feel different sensations because the side body, 2 halves of the body aren't the same. So do what you want to do. Come into it to a depth that feels appropriate. It might not be quite so deep as on the first side to begin with, but you might get there eventually. Top arm can reach up, and this is quite a nice place to begin because you keep putting all that length, and the emphasis is on the exposed right hand side of your body. It could go with the hand behind your back and you keep rolling the right shoulder backwards. Breathing into the heart, keep the heart space open. Or cartwheeling the arm all the way up and over, seeking out the opposite hand. If it doesn't quite get there, don't worry, just let it rest in that general direction. Rolling the top rib cage back, the top shoulder back. And breathing. 5 more breaths. You keep the yin-like aspect to your breath now. You let your head drop a little bit more into the side bend. Okay, last breath. Feel free, of course, if you want to pause the video, stay a bit longer if you are watching on the recording. And then gently inhale your way slowly back up to sit. Give the thighs that other rub. Well done. And then we will make our way with the feet slowly coming back to center. They've been a long time in that position, so do what you need to do. You might want to just rest still, just sit still with them a little bit more central, or you could do the rolling of the toes, shake the legs. Okay. And then let's make our way down to lying, please. And lay down with your knees bent initially. You can take your hands a little distance away from the sides of your body to give your hips a bit of room. Have your feet as wide as the mat. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, let the knees roll out to one side and turn the head in the opposite direction to the knees. Inhale, bring both knees back up to the center, head returns also, and then exhale the knees out in the opposite direction, turning the nose away. Go from side to side again, breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in and out. Do one more on each side. And come back to the center. And hug the knees in towards your chest. Give them a little bit of a squeeze. And then rock the knees gently from side to side. Coming back to the center. Letting the back of your body begin to sink into the mat. Starting to relax those muscles. Letting the arms release out by your sides, also allowing the arms to relax, to become settled. And then you can move one leg away at a time and slide the heel down and out to the corner edge of your mat. Relax that leg. And then last of all, final leg. Slide that one out too. Let it rest away. Let the toes roll out. Adjust wherever you feel that you need to make adjustments. Perhaps your shoulder blades need to be a bit flatter. Perhaps you prefer to lie with your knees bent. Use whatever props you need for a comfortable Shavasana, including perhaps an eye pillow to rest. That little bit of weight can be so soothing for the muscles around the eyes. Encourage the back of your body to become heavier and more yin-like with each exhalation. Breathe your yang inhale deeply into your front yin-like body, the soft and yielding side. It becomes more yang-like in this position. It's higher up. There's more movement here, more activity, more light as it faces the sun. That body, in contrast, has become more yin-like, darker, heavier, closer to the ground. And so we remind ourselves that every aspect of life, there is no binary, there's no opposite, because black and white doesn't truly exist. If you bring to mind the yin and yang symbol, it's meant to gently turn. And so the black blends into the white, and the white blends into the black, meaning that grey exists. There has to be a place between two extremes. And that's where we find balance all the time, continually changing, never staying the same. Okay, so a couple more breaths here. Taking a deeper breath in, slow, smooth breath out. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes and turn your head from side to side gently. Take a stretch out, inviting movement back into your body in a gentle way. No force, no need to hurry. And then carefully release your arms and bend your knees. Roll yourself over to one side. Use your hand to support you as you spiral your way up to sit. And come to sit cross-legged. Feel free to sit on a block if you want. Okay, let's find a settled place. Cross-legged or otherwise, any seated position that works. Close the eyes. Settle down into your sit bones, back to where we began our practice. And here, before we invite the rest of our day back in, we sit and we pause and we notice. And then taking another breath in, join your palms together. Namaste.